Hello. Well, this was planned to be an update for Halloween this year for the Eyes project last year. Unfortunately, it's not come out as I hoped. The idea was that this would be animatronic to some extent, with some radio controlled servos inside it to make at least the chin and the eyebrows move, give it a bit of expression. Unfortunately, it turns out the material this is made of, which is it's a very low-cost latex mask, which is rubber, but the rubber is very, very stiff. It's non-elastic, and unfortunately, it's just not stretchy enough to actually move at all in any practical way. I mean, as it came from someplace on AliExpress, the mouth is actually sealed even. It's not intended to move at all with the wearer's face. I think it would need a rather expensive silicone mask, one that's designed to conform and move with the wearer, for it to have any chance of actually being made animatronic. You know, much softer and more elastic material. I mean, it's not bad for effect as it is, but it just doesn't do what I hoped it would do. Anyway, I'll show you how it's built, just on principle, if anyone wants to have a go. I mean, someone might have better luck with it than me, so I think it's worth sharing regardless. So if I turn it around, that's just a big block of foam at the bottom. It's a cutout of this terrible pick and pluck foam, what do you call it, out of a parts box, which has got convenient slots everywhere to stick wires into without forcing anything or damaging anything, so it'll all lift out. The whole thing's just a wireframe, and I made the first few pieces literally by getting lengths of wire and just bending them around my head until they were an approximate fit. This is not actually copper wire, it's gas welding rod, which is far cheaper than copper, and it's also a lot stiffer because it's mild steel, and it's copper plated, which makes it very easy to solder. In fact, it's a lot easier to solder than solid copper because it doesn't transfer heat as quickly, so you can solder it quite easily with a small soldering iron. And I think a bundle of, I think this was 50 pieces from eBay, and I think it was about £10. And I haven't used many in this. You can see inside it, if I take the mask off it, so I have to just put the phone down for a second. You see the structure. In fact, I'm just going to pause for a second because I've got to bring a piece through. Right, that was a key part of the construction. It's just a strip of cardboard taped together, taped and glued, and I made it fit around my own head, around my forehead. Then I bent the first 3 upright wires round, one near the back of my head, one kind of middle, one that's just behind me, is that one just in front of me, and that one basically as far forward to still get the shape. And as I did it, I marked on here, it's not very clear because it's just pencil, but I marked the positions on that as I formed them. And obviously it's a bit springy, it doesn't fit straight away when you bend it, but by forming it with your fingers, which it does do very easily, offcut somewhere. I've got some bits here that I haven't used, although going to be linkages for the animatronics. Just bend one of these. You know, it bends just with finger pressure, and it's quite workable. So it is nice stuff to work with for doing anything like this. So I got those positions got the right place. Which way it was? I think it's probably that way. So roughly there, you can just about see the angles, how they were fitted, and then matched these. Did another one front to back, dead centre down my nose and down the back of my neck, and then kind of started sticking the ends, made them very long ends so I could stick them in the foam, and started just sticking them in, setting in position, and then soldered a few spots to hold in position. The only copper wires are the bits I used to tie them together to reinforce the joints, because I found these soldered only joints would crack when I was trying to form other parts already in it. And that's some fairly thin copper. It's actually stripped out of some multi-strand cable, 7-strand conduit cable. So it's about a 4mm cable, or 4mm area cable, and it's 7 strands like this, which are a fraction under a millimetre, I think. Then also there's a bit of stripped out power cable, which is holding the eye LCDs, so I could form them easily as I put them in, because there's a lot of guesswork to positioning those, and then kind of sticking a hand in through the back to position them against the eye holes in the mask. And I say it was supposed to be animatronic, so there's lots of moving parts in it. The jaw moves, and there's bits of brass tube with small spacers and rollers on them, and that was supposed to have bits of kind of lever mechanism like this. Can't remember which one that was for now. That might have been for the cheek. So the idea was that would go through, attached to one of the rollers in here, and allow a servo hidden away in the back to move the other end of it, to move the cheek position. The same way, I've got bits there for the eyebrows, and a bit in here to hopefully, I was getting a bit over optimistic there, I think, to move the bottom lip. And oh yes, there's another bit I forgot. Yeah, expecting the mouth of the mask to be able to open before I even received it. I also got some fake teeth, which are a couple of pounds on eBay. The idea was they would attach to the upper and lower jaw positions, so when the mouth did open it, you could see the teeth inside it, and even with the tongue fitting it to hide in it, just so when the mouth was open it got something visible rather than just an empty space. As I say, unfortunately the mask is just not flexible enough. Anyway, oh yeah, this is the rest of it. This is how it was going to be animated if it worked. For each position, I've glued on using latex glue. This is actually Copydex latex glue. A little bit of cotton fabric. I let that wet it both sides, wet the mask material, and stuck that on. Then over the top of that, the little wire shaped pieces with another piece of cotton fabric the same size overlaid on it. In fact, you can see on that one there's the original back there, first piece, and then the second piece with the end slotted so it fits around the little U-channel metal. We've got several of those in different places, and so I was hoping to be able to move the lips and the cheeks for expression. But once it's actually on the wire frame and everything's set in place, although it seems to move okay here, it's so stiff it's just no chance of moving it. I think you can just about force the jaw to move about 3 or 4 millimeters. Oh yeah, that's my alignment mark there. That fits on the top centre there, So every time I put it on, it's back in the same place. I say it's not too bad just as a static display, but unfortunately it's not going to be animated. It's just far too rigid once it's all in place, which is a shame. But I'm guessing, well, ones I've seen roughly, a silicone mask for something like this is somewhere around 150 to 200 pounds, and even then I don't know what quality it is. It might still be too rigid and too thick to be animatable, so without a lot more information and a lot of money to throw away, which I just can't afford for a risk like this, I'm afraid that's not going to go any further than this. It's just going to go back together and that's it, as a display, or as well as the skull from last year. Anyway, I hope that's been a bit of interest. Sorry it's not a more functional project, but that's just the way things go when you're experimenting. Anyway, thanks for watching. Just one other point. If you do go to buy a mask to try something like this, look very carefully at the pictures and only buy it from a place that shows photos of the actual mask on its own. And if it looks too good for the price, it probably is, because I spend a lot of time looking at different masks and reviews, and unfortunately a lot of advertisers use photos of people or actors or whatever and superimpose that face over everything and never actually show the mask. And then when you get it, as in this Amazon buyer, I found that put a photo of the actual thing they got on, it's nothing at all like the advert photos. Looking at the number of stars that most reviews get on Amazon, it seems that virtually every mask that looks realistic is a fake advert, and you get something that's a piece of junk. I mean, the one I got is one of the few that actually showed genuine pictures of the mask on its own and didn't look too bad. I mean, the appearance is okay, but unfortunately the material is just way too stiff to use the way I want it to. Anyway, that's just a word of warning, and hope you don't get scammed with a fake one. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please like the video if you enjoyed it.